Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
What'd you think about that music in the background?
Um, Not too bad. A nice little introduction.
Right. I have been looking for another button to see if there's any other like intro songs. I haven't found it yet. I'm sure it's on here. I'm sure there's lots, but every time I just end up failing. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
maybe in the coming weeks you'll find something.
hopefully, yeah. But I do like to jam to it in the background. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's
So
not bad. It's not bad.
it's not bad. Yeah. So, Alex, this is going to be really cool to kind of interview you and find out more about you. So, your grandma, props to your grandma, was telling me that you're a cross country runner. But before we get into that, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your school and just all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, I grew up in Port Perry, Ontario, actually. I went to Port Perry High School.
Okay.
That's where I started running, like in my time there. And now I'm at the University of Guelph, actually. I'm a varsity athlete there, so I'm part of the cross country and track and field team.
Wow.
I'm studying biomedical engineering. I've been doing that for 4 years, and I'll be going into my last year of undergrad.
Wow.
Um, I last year I was a co-captain of the cross country team. Um, I was a part of a Guelph engineering professional development team as well. So just sort of
Wow.
practicing some leadership skills in engineering, like outside of sport.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So, okay, so you were saying that you got into cross country in
Mhm.
high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, when did you, how young were you? Were you like, you just be running around and you're like, I kind of like this. Like, when did that kind of start for you?
Yeah. So I guess it actually started maybe grade like 7 or 8. My dad would actually him and I would go to these road races together. Oftentimes they were about 10K, sometimes they would be 5K.
Wow.
And I wouldn't train really for them necessarily. I would maybe occasionally do like a 15-minute run, like once or twice a week. But I would run these road races and I would be so proud of myself that I could do these like without stopping. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, wow, I can run 10K without stopping. I'm only in grade 7. Like I thought that that was a crazy accomplishment.
To me,
And I
that
think
is.
just that's good. I feel like now I acknowledge I'm not the only one out there doing that, but at the
Right.
time it felt pretty big. And so I just remember feeling like so proud of myself after doing those runs. And that's sort of when I realized maybe this is something that I want to pursue in the future. Um, and then in high school, I joined a team outside of school.
Right.
And that's where it sort of all got started.
Okay. So, oh, yeah, so outside of high school, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was part of, like, the high school cross country team and track team, but
Okay.
we weren't really training too much together, like, at the high school. It was maybe once or twice a week, but we weren't really doing any workouts. It was more just, like, easy running.
Right.
But my dad sort of found a club that was close to where we lived. So the club was in Uxbridge, actually, and I trained outside of school, which would we'd meet like a few times a week. And that was when I would say my passion for running like really grew because I could actually practice it.
That's so cool.
Um, yeah, but prior to joining that club, I honestly didn't even know that like running clubs were like a thing. I thought it was just something that everybody did on their own. Um,
Okay.
so it was really cool to like find a community and friends that had similar passion to me. And I'd say, yeah, that's when I got, like, a little bit better at running because I actually practiced instead of just going to the races.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I love that you're saying too that you were doing like extra workouts. So like what would that kind of look like? Is that like strength training? Like what were you doing?
Yeah, in high school, I never did any strength training, actually. We didn't really have any gyms near us other than,
Okay.
like, your regular gym that you would have to pay for, but I never did that. But I also would say I was, like, a multi-sport athlete, so I didn't just do running in high school, which I found was pretty important just to get a good variety in.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, I did downhill skiing actually, like, racing, ski racing. I
Wow.
was a dancer all through, elementary school. I competed competitively in dance.
Wow.
Um, and I also did, like, some mountain biking in high school as well. so some more endurance type sport.
Yeah,
Um, but like yeah, for strength training, we just did like circuits before, I think before practice and sometimes after practice. And then 3 times a week we'd meet up and we do workouts, like intervals type training,
that's
if that makes
awesome. That's
sense.
exactly what we're doing with like the athletes. And like if you could recommend that to anybody, like what would you say about that? Because I think personally it's huge for the athletes, that kind of training that you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I think in high school is just a big emphasis on like body weight strengthening. It really puts a focus on to like some of the muscles that you don't necessarily work on when you're just doing your sport, or it does help strengthen like the major muscle groups that are also really important to your sport.
Right.
And I also would say I honestly never really got injured in high school either, and that probably did play a big factor into it. Just
That wow, that's
having
actually
like
really impressive.
yeah, yeah, just having like strong muscles, and just doing that extra training.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like it sounds to me like you kind of right off the hop started understanding like how important it is to be training, right? To keep on top of things. Cause that's the one thing that we hear a lot is just a lot of injuries. But some athletes, they want to be an athlete, but they're not putting in, and some of them like they make it pretty high, but they're not putting in the training like what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's one thing just to go to practice and just practice like just your sport, but it's
Yeah.
another to do like the strength training or the sleeping or the eating or all of that extra stuff outside of your sport, which is really what's going to help you be able to show up every day in your
Yeah.
sport and be able to do what you love.
That's yeah, it's so true. Yeah, like and I think that's the thing, right? Like I mean, there's one thing about pushing through, but also like you're saying about rest. It's so important, right? Like instead of being up all night gaming and stuff, if you want to be at the next level or whatever, you're probably going to need to be going to bed at a decent time so you can get up at a
Yeah.
decent time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you sound like you've been pretty self-disciplined. Like can you share some stats with us, kind of like what you've accomplished so far?
Yeah,
You're
for
like, where do I
sure.
start?
I would say that I made some pretty like big improvements in the past year or so in my running.
Oh wow.
So a lot of like what I'm really proud of has come in the last year. So I can share some of those cool stats
Yeah.
that I'm proud of. This past cross country season, won I won 3 of the 4 cross country meets, the university
Wow.
cross country meets that I did. One of
That's
those
amazing.
wins was the Ontario Championships. So
Wow.
I won there by, I think the margin was almost a minute, which I was super
Really?
proud of. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So it
That's
was
really impressive.
8K in Kingston, and I was really proud of that. I definitely felt strong that race, so that was good. And then 2 weeks after that, we had the Canadian like university national cross country championships.
Okay.
So there I placed third. That was in Quebec. I didn't feel like the greatest that day, but I'm still pretty proud of that accomplishment, finishing
Wow.
third out of all like university athletes in Canada.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, and then I think 2 weeks after that, we had, it's not the university nationals, but just like the cross country nationals for all of Canada.
Wow.
And anybody can compete, even if you're not a university athlete. So there I finished 10th, which I was really proud of. I was trying to make the world cross country national team at that meet.
Wow.
I missed it by a couple spots, so
Okay.
I'll have to try again in the future. But
That's
still
awesome.
being like definitely one of the younger athletes there, and competing against like Olympians and elite professional
Really?
athletes. Yeah, yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah.
I mean, that is really cool.
Yeah, so I was really proud of myself for that. And then I also got selected to represent Canada nationally, in
Wow.
Italy for the World University Cross Country Championship. So that's like
Wow.
university athletes competing like internationally. So I got selected for
Wow.
that. And I competed there a couple months ago actually in Italy. So I did the 10K individual and then we had a relay the next day. I did the long relay, so that was my leg was 5K, so it was a lot
Okay.
of running that weekend.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine.
15K of racing.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, that was more just go for the experience as it was my first time representing Canada at an
That is,
international level. So
wow.
hopefully I can do that more now in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like some of the accomplishments that I'm pretty proud of.
Those are
Um,
some pretty great accomplishments. That's awesome. So, because you were saying, so your one race, you were feeling pretty strong. Like, do you
yeah.
think that there something different? Like, was it like nutrition or was it just mindset? Like, what was it? Do you think that were feeling so strong?
I think it was, I mean, probably both for sure.
Okay.
Um, this year I've been having an emphasis on adding in like extra carbs before I race.
Okay.
So I'll
That's
have like
important.
my normal breakfast. Usually it's bagel, peanut butter, banana, and honey.
Okay.
And then after the warm up, before I do like my strides, which are sort of just like quick sprints before you do your race, just to warm up the legs and get them going
Sure.
fast.
Yeah.
Um, I'll usually try to have 30 grams of carbs in so that my body has like that extra fuel and energy right before the gun goes off.
Wow.
So that probably helped.
Yeah.
But I think also just mindset. A lot of my races this fall, I tried to take the lead right from the start of the race and
Wow.
just hope I can like hold the lead the entire race. So I did that race, and I think just like knowing that everybody is behind me and wanting to keep that lead, like mentally makes me run faster because I'm like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
want them to catch up. So I definitely know like that's what was going through my mind in that race.
Wow.
And it was like all mostly positive thoughts. So
Yeah. And I think that's key, right? Like, because I know it's kind of like maybe off topic a little bit, but not really in the sense that there's a lot of athletes that deal with depression. Like sometimes when you push yourself so hard, sometimes you can get down a little bit. Like, I don't know if that makes sense or if that's anything
yeah,
that you've
yeah,
ever
yeah,
experienced. But yeah, so, you telling yourself that, yes, you can, you're going to stay ahead. Like, it really makes a huge impact for sure.
yeah,
So,
for sure. Um, like even in some of my other races, I know like I can go into every race sometimes with like a similar mentality, but some days like my body is just going to feel worse, and sometimes I can't really put my
sure.
finger on it like as to
Yeah,
why that is. But in the race, like if my mind does start to go negative, which if I'm feeling bad, it's sort of inevitable that like my mind is just gonna like negative thoughts are gonna pop in. I
right.
try to tell myself like, okay, thinking this way is not gonna help me right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so just yeah, trying to like tell yourself, okay, yes, yes, you can do it. From a running perspective, I like to think about, okay, just get to the next kilometer and then the next kilometer after that, instead of just thinking about, oh, I have 5K left. No, just think,
Yeah.
yeah, I just have to make it to 6K, then to 7K. So just
That's
breaking it up
brilliant.
into chunks like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, like I love how you did that because I think that's the thing. Sometimes we like jump ahead way too far, and
yeah,
that's where you get overwhelmed, right? So
yeah,
it sounds like you've like grown a lot of self-discipline and great mindset where you're like, let's break this down into little increments, right? Like
yeah,
smaller portions, and then it's more attainable, I think.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. And
that's
also
awesome.
like if like let's say the outcome isn't what you wanted, it can always be like a learning experience for the next time.
That's
Sometimes
good.
you don't know what went wrong, like sometimes the prep just wasn't ideal, but like you don't know where it went wrong, but some
Yeah,
other times like you do, like, okay, hey, I didn't sleep well last night, like what can I do next time to improve that?
right. There's
So
grandma.
oh,
Pop her
hi
up here.
mom.
There she is, very disciplined. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the time, even if it doesn't go out well, you can still get something beneficial from the experience, even if it's not like the outcome that you wanted.
So do you think that that's something that's kind of grown over time? Like when you were a bit younger, did you struggle more with that? Or was that something you kind of got off the hop and you're that kind of person where like, you know what? No, we're going to learn from this. Or did you kind of have to like work that muscle for the mind? You're like, okay,
Um, I think definitely work it throughout like my experiences racing and stuff. especially just now because I have just like raced so much more. So there are just so many more results that I have. Like
Yeah.
when you're younger and you've only, like, let's say I've raced like a few times in a year, like
Yeah.
I just don't really have as many experiences to go off of. But now when I'm racing like once almost every other week, like every single race I know is not going to go necessarily exactly how I want it to.
Right.
So I sort of now have to come at it from that perspective of like,
That's
okay,
great.
either like, yeah, either it's going to be a good result or we're going to learn something, because I think otherwise that's how like you can get pretty negative and down on yourself in sport.
Oh, for sure. And it is so much training. Like, um, yeah, so you've obviously like had to press in. Like, you take a rest day, or like are you pretty much in running like how many days a week? How much are you?
Yeah, so I usually run 6 to 7 days a week.
Wow.
I take about a rest day every other week.
Okay.
But once again, that is very individual. I'd say it's most normal for runners to take like 1 to 2 days completely off a week.
Okay.
But because my races are a bit longer, like 10K, um, and I built up like higher mileage over the past few years,
For
my
sure.
body currently can handle like the rest day every other week, but I it's definitely not on the normal side for a lot of
Right.
runners. Yeah,
Right.
so don't take that as like training advice.
Right. I was like, every other week you're taking a rest day. Wow, girl,
Yeah.
you're awesome. But obviously it's in your blood. Like, I think that's amazing that you found this niche, like, because
Mhm.
this is not an easy sport. This is you got to
Mhm.
press in, you got to be so self-disciplined. And so I'm sure you have had so much joy from it, but like, have there been moments where you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know about this anymore?
Yeah, definitely. I think honestly, just being like a student athlete can sometimes be overwhelming a lot of the
Oh
time. Like
yeah.
after a long day of school and then having a really hard workout afterwards, I think mentally it can be exhausting and physically as well.
Right.
So I think just like going into it from the perspective of like, okay, I'm just gonna do the best that I can do for like on this day.
That's good.
Um,
Yeah.
and just like looking at it as like building blocks. So like not every single workout has to be like the best workout of your life, but just having like, like a few like okay, good, or even bad
Right.
workouts a week that just stack up on top of each other. Like that's what's going to make you a better athlete as opposed to having like miraculous workouts every single time, if
Right.
that makes sense. So
Oh,
just
for
like showing
sure.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's what yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is showing up, right? Like, because yeah, we can come up with every excuse to not show up, like, right?
Yeah.
Like you get up in the morning, you're like, I don't know if I need to do that today. I did it yesterday, right? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
keep
think
showing
it's
up.
also just knowing, like, more times than not, every time I go for a run afterwards, I never regret it. Like, I always feel grateful that I did it. Um, Even if during the run, like, my legs were sore or I was
Right.
just counting down the minutes until I could be done. Like,
Mm.
that's why I love running so much, because you just always feel so proud of yourself regardless after.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's sometimes what motivates me as well. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna think about the feeling after I'm done this, and I know it's gonna be good. So,
And that's great too. So like you're telling yourself ahead, like, let's do this because you know the result after this. You know that you're gonna
mhm,
feel good.
mhm,
Um, yeah, that is so key.
mhm.
I'm just trying to picture you too, like in front of all these girls when you were saying that, like just having them behind you, like in a sense, they were spearing you on, right? You're like, I can't let them get ahead of me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's funny because like, in the race, because they're behind me and I don't wanna, like, keep looking back to see where
right,
they are, sometimes, like, I just sort of have to guess how far behind they are or not,
right.
and sometimes, like, I think that they're closer than they actually are, and so that honestly just really kept me, like, pushing, throughout the race because I just thought that they were, yeah, closer than they were. But sometimes I'll get, like, feedback in the race from the people watching me, and they're like, "Oh, like, you've put on, like, more of a gap on them," or "Oh, they're
Wow.
catching up." So I like to use feedback from, like, the crowd as well to help me gauge, my effort.
Actually, I love that you said that because that is so great. I think sometimes, we can take that as like criticism instead of like
Mhm.
good criticism, like critical,
Right.
yeah, or yeah, I'm not saying it right, but anyways, it's a good thing. But I think sometimes we can, maybe we get offended, like if somebody says something. But I think that's so key because I feel like every athlete really should be doing that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
just using those around you to, like,
Hmm.
like, if they're telling you something good, like, that's great, and
Yeah.
if they're telling you something that you can improve, like, although you might not wanna hear it, it can also be great because in the long run, it's gonna help you be a better athlete or person or
It's
whatever
so
at the end
true.
of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you're using that as fuel, right? Because then again, I think it's also mindset because you could use that as like offensive or an insult or like right, but you're not taking it that way. And I think that that's
Mhm.
important for athletes to understand too that you know, yeah, some people can just be mean, right? But like
Yeah.
if it's a good feedback, even if you don't want to hear it, use it as fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, not in the sense of people, like, cheering me on, telling me other runners are getting close, but, like, if someone's giving, like, negative feedback, it could also come from a place of, like, jealousy or
yeah,
something, so you
yeah,
can also look at it from that perspective.
totally.
Um, but in the sense of, like, if people in a race are telling me, "Oh, that person's getting closer to you," then instead of, like, trying to use it instead of taking it as, like, a negative thing and
Right,
letting, like, negative thoughts pop into my mind, I can, yeah, use it as fuel, like, "Okay, I'm gonna push harder now so they're not gonna get me."
right.
Yeah.
That's great. Man, I'm just trying to think. I just gotta share this with you. I did a half marathon once. Okay. I used to be part of the running room, and like the most I ever did was like a 5 or 10K, and I did not practice enough. So you're a prime example of like really practicing and pushing hard, being self-disciplined. Like I did a little bit, not near the way I should have. But anyways, everybody kept telling me, they're like, "Oh, once you do a half marathon or you do a marathon, you'll want to come back." I'm never,
Yeah.
that was like 10 years ago. I just want you to know that. But that being said, it was because I was not self disciplined. I did not practice. I loved the 5, I loved the 10 because I kept practicing. But I just thought, oh, if I could do that, I'm just going to jump right into. And so, putting in that effort, like what you're doing and showing up every day is like so important. Have you ever done like have you ever done like a half marathon or anything like that?
I do have marathons essentially once a week in practice for my
Oh,
long runs.
okay.
But, like,
Wow.
um, I mean, sometimes my long runs will get up to, like, 22K, but sometimes they are less than that.
Wow.
I guess I don't really think of it as, like, "Oh my gosh, I ran a half marathon today," but
Right.
it definitely is, like, it is a long run,
That
and I
is a
am out
long.
there for a while pushing,
Yeah.
but once again, it is, like, I've built up to that since grade 9 in high school, and now I'm entering my 5th year of university, so it's not like it's something that happens overnight, like you mentioned.
No,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, actually at the end of or no, the start of July, my dad and I are doing a 30K trail race, so
Oh
that'll
my.
be the
Wow.
longest run I'll ever do, which I'm excited
That's
up to
cool.
this point. Yeah.
Wow. So like a trail race, like in like the hills and like off like the beaten path.
Yeah, it's, there'll be trails, it's up Mount St. Anne, so
Okay.
I think it's like 1.4 or 1.6 kilometers of elevation gain and loss, which
Wow.
is yeah, it's gonna be a lot, so
Right.
I'm gonna have to try to train for that a little bit over the next month.
Yeah. Now what about your dad? Is he training? What's he doing?
Yeah, so my dad actually got into running a bit more after I got into running,
That's cool.
because he would, like, go to races with me and stuff, and so instead of just watching, he's like, "Oh, I might as well race too,"
Yeah.
so then he had to train for these races that he was hopping in for. So, he's getting into marathon running a bit more, actually. He's done Chicago and New York in the past 2 years, and he's training for Chicago coming up this fall.
That's wow. That is
Yeah.
so cool that you guys have that together. It's funny. My mom's on here too, but she has a question for you. And I think you might have answered it earlier, but you could probably answer it again. So, being a student, is it difficult dividing your time between running training and your studies?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially being in engineering where the coursework and course load can be pretty high and demanding.
Wow. Yeah.
Once again, like a lot of the time, as many student athletes say, it comes down to like organization, self-discipline, as we've been mentioning, allotting time in the day, like, okay, here I'm going to class,
Right.
here I'm going to study, but also just giving yourself time to have breaks as well, because you can't always be go, go, go. I think that's when you can
Yeah.
burn out pretty easily. So I think in like my time at Guelph, I've definitely tried to learn to have some balance.
That's
I
good.
know in the first like 2 years, it was basically like always either practicing, studying, eating, or sleeping. But
Right.
now I'd say that I tried to have like a bit more balance.
That's great. So it sounds like you've gotten a lot better at like so self-discipline, but also time management.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
time management is huge. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not always perfect, and I think that's just honestly reality. Like, I think regardless of how much practice and experience you have, you're gonna have weeks where you're just, like, bombarded with work,
Yeah.
and there's no other way around it, but yeah, you can
Oh,
try.
for sure. Sorry, did you just say work too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have work, but thrown in there.
Wow. Okay, we didn't even talk about that. So if there's any athletes or families watching, like after on the replay, just keep going, keep time managing, being self-disciplined. Because yeah, it
Yes.
does take a lot for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's a really impressive. But I think that that's one of the things too. I keep trying to tell the athletes and even myself, like it is really about time management. Because again, it's easy to get up in the morning and say, I don't need to do that. But I know
Mhm.
for me, it's scheduled at like 6 a.m. You're doing your workout. Even though I'm training people and stuff like that, I have to do it too. Like if I'm gonna walk the walk, I gotta talk the talk. Um, and so, but if I don't time manage, that gets lost. And then before you know it, it's like day three, and I'm like, nah, and then it's just like this slow drip, and then you're fighting your way back. So I think that like you hit the nail on the head there. Like it really is that time management.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's important, but also, like, at the end of the day, if you love something, then I think regardless, like, you're gonna find the time to do it. Like, I love running and
Yeah.
school. I mean, love-hate relationship, but I'm very grateful for my education and my experience, so I'm gonna find time to do the work that I need to do the training that I need to do because I love it and I really care about it.
That's amazing. Now, as you like, because when are you graduating? Is it this year? Sorry,
It'll be next spring.
next spring. Wow.
Yes, in a year.
So, and like, you're gonna keep going with your training? Like, you're gonna keep kind of fighting for the medals and all of those kinds of things?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think this year, I've definitely come to realize that I think I can have a career after my time at the University of Guelph. What that looks like, I'm
Cool.
not exactly sure yet.
Right.
It might be balancing like a job and trying to train at a like professional level.
Right.
Um, I'm not exactly sure what my goals look like in the future.
Sure.
I haven't really thought that far, but I definitely do want to keep training at a very high level after I graduate, which I'm
Wow.
excited about. Yeah.
That's really cool. So I like that you're gonna keep I feel like this is probably gonna be even throughout your life because you love it so much. But like
Yeah.
I love that you're thinking about even like amping it up. So you're like, this is not over. I'm in
Yeah.
fact gonna try and go even further with this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if anything, like my passion for the sport has honestly just grown each year that I've been at Guelph.
That's
I don't even know
cool.
why that is necessarily, but I just love it so much and I love the community and the team that I'm around as well. Like I think it's great the people that are in the sport. And we all are very like uplifting of each other.
That's
And
so
so
good.
even if like, yeah, even if you're not having the best day or your race wasn't the best, like there's still great experiences that you can have,
For sure.
which I'm really grateful for and I love. Yeah.
That's great. When I had my mini career at the running room, I did love it. Like every time I go to a race, I felt that. Like it just
Yeah.
was so uplifting.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the things about running because it's not a glamorous sport and more times than not, you're not feeling good in a race. You're not
Right.
like it's not the best feeling ever,
Right.
but I think it is just the community and also like how you feel afterwards, like how proud
Yeah.
you feel, um, is what really gets people into running.
Yeah, I would agree with you because, like, yeah, when I would cross that, like, even it was just like a few extra, seconds or
Yeah,
something, I just felt like I did that. This is
yeah,
such an accomplishment. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I guess it is also one of those sports where it's like, the outcome is sort of, like, correlated to, like, what you put into it.
Yes.
Not all the time, it's not necessarily, like, a linear correlation, but,
Right.
if you're putting in hard work, then it's like, "Okay, wow, I was just able to run that race faster," and that's another way that, like, you can be proud of yourself because you put in that work, and then you can see the outcome.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that you're also saying that your passion is amped up because I think sometimes too what happens is you start to get that burnout, right? Like some
Mhm.
athletes, if you don't find the self-discipline, you don't find the time management, you're not finding the balance. I do see some athletes getting almost like that thing that they loved is they're not loving it so much anymore. So I think like everything that you're saying, it has got to work together as a well-oiled machine and like your first 2 years, that was like a learning curve, right? You were just like, whoa. And then you started to realize, okay, hey, we got to change things up here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think more times than not, as people get later into their careers, they do experience burnout.
Hmm.
But I think for me, it's just showing up day after day and putting in the effort, has made me realize that, like, I can take this sport even further than I ever thought was possible for me,
Yeah,
honestly. And so I think that's, like, what makes me really excited is just thinking about my goals every day,
that's so cool.
and
I
what I
love
want
that
to
too.
do. Yeah, and what I want to do in the future. I think that's what makes me love running so much and excited to show up every day as opposed to dreading it and, like, experiencing that burnout.
Wow. So when okay, so like, are you the goals kind of more in the forefront of your mind, or is this something like do you journal things? Like, how do you kind of like keep that in the forefront?
Yeah, I know journaling is great and works well for many people.
I'm not a
For me
journaler. I'm not.
personally, I don't I do not write it down physically, but
Right.
I do think about it in my mind often, especially as I do have races that come up almost every other week. Like, I'm
Wow.
thinking about short-term goals, like, "Okay, what do I wanna do in my race 2 weeks from now?" And long-term goals, like, "What do I wanna do next cross country season?" Or in 2 years from now, like, "What teams do I wanna make?"
Wow.
So yeah, not written, but I just think about
Yeah.
it often, especially because when I'm training every single day, like, sometimes that's the motivation that you need to get out the door.
Yeah. And I love that you just said too, like you're just hitting the nail on the head today. This is awesome. Like you got the short term, then you got the long term, and I think that that's really important too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They teach you, like, you can't just have the long-term goals because you need the smaller stuff to get to the
Yes.
long-term
Yeah.
goals, yeah.
And it is those little things, right? Like even the failures. I think you were kind of saying like the good days and the bad
Mhm.
days, right? Because then you learn from the failures on like either you can throw the towel in and say I'm done with this, or you can press in harder and be like, this is an awesome opportunity. I just learned from this mistake. And I think that's so important too because yeah, I think we can really fold quickly, but you have really mentally prepared yourself like over the years to keep going. Like if if there was somebody watching right now, like even on the replay, like a young athlete or someone that's aspiring to be a runner or like could be in anything because some of them want to make it big in whatever. Like what would your advice be for them?
Honestly, I just tell them to, like, be patient and enjoy the process.
Oh, that's
Of
good
course,
too.
as we've been mentioning, like,
Yeah.
every single day is not gonna be the most fantastic, like, exciting day ever with, like, the best results ever. Like, you're gonna have hard days, you're gonna have bad days, but just taking those days as they come, learning from them, and of course, celebrating, like, the big days, the goals,
Yeah.
the personal best, the medals, um, and also just leaning into, like, the community or the team aspect of your sport, just really being there for one another, trying to be a leader, um, helping, like, lift others up, because that's also, like, what really keeps you going at the end of the day. Like, if it's
Sure.
just you, but, like, there's no community behind what you're
Right.
doing, then I don't think that it would be very enjoyable either. So, yeah, just
That's
really, like,
important.
leaning into the friends that you have in your sport and trying to be there for everyone else.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that's the thing too. Sometimes we can end up being an island on our own, and that's just not going to work, right? Like you can. I think that, like it sounds to me like you've learned a lot of like humility because you seem pretty humble. And sometimes I think like as athletes too, like can get really arrogant, like you're the best, you're the, you know, but it's encouraging one another. It's coming down from that position, and using your leadership skills. Like I think you were saying something about leadership, which I thought that was really cool. Like people are teaching you leadership, but like I was even going to ask you too, do you think down the road this would be something that you would like to like train people?
Yeah, I've occasionally thought about it. I don't think I'd want it as like necessarily my full-time career,
Mm-hmm.
being a coach, but I think on the side, I would definitely enjoy coaching like younger athletes, and teach them the sport of running. And I just hope that they would enjoy it as much as I do because that's all like I want for anyone else who
Right.
starts running as well.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, if you're passionate about it, right? Like, which you are, I
Yeah.
think it's so cool. Keep
Yeah. I
going.
think also just, like, teaching the importance of not doing too much while you're young, like, of course, you want to be motivated and disciplined and showing up, but as you mentioned, like, that burnout, if you're training 7 days a week and you're in grade 7, like, there's gonna be some issues. So,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
just, like, being a good coach from that perspective of just showing them, like, there's balance in life,
Right.
um, yeah.
And it's hard too because I see too there's a lot of a lot of kids that are youth or whatever, super passionate about like being in every sport, which is so great, but you do see that burnout, in some of these kids, and I'm like, oh man, like maybe just pick one sport or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You can't do it all. And
No, it's
and
hard.
school and play with friends and
Oh, for sure.
whatever else you have to do when you're that age.
Yeah, and I think that's where that depression starts to come in, right? Because you're just trying to do it all. You're trying to do everything, be that like super athlete or whatever, but like you said, enjoy your life
Yeah,
and just like, yeah, time
yeah,
management, all that kind of stuff. That's so important. This
yes.
has been awesome, Alex. Thank you so much. Like I just you were so well versed. This was amazing. Like you were just hitting all the key points. I'm like, this is so cool.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
This is my first time ever doing a talk or anything like this, so I'm
Yeah,
glad
no,
it's going well.
yeah, no, I really do appreciate it because you have obviously, sorry, my nose is starting to run here.
It's okay.
It's that time of year, I guess. Anyways, but yeah, you've learned so much and you can tell that. And again, you were saying your fifth year of university now.
Yes, yes, going
Yeah.
into yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. Well, I'm so glad that your grandma got us in touch or whatever. We'll have to like if
Yeah.
you do another race. Actually, it would be nice to touch base with you about after this like 30K that you're gonna do. When's that again?
July
What races?
5th.
July 5th. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
coming up.
I've got a couple races on the track before that, and
Right?
then I have that one, and
Okay.
then I'll be taking a week break before I start training for cross country season in the fall again.
Oh my goodness, eh? But that makes
Yeah,
sense, right? Like you
yep,
taking off that week because and then yeah, you'd be
yeah,
training for
yeah,
the fall.
yeah. Yeah, as
That's so
runners, it's sort of go, 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 like, there's honestly never an off season because we also do indoor track, so during the
wow.
winter, it's not even like we have an off season there necessarily.
All right. And I think you would lose a lot of like traction in a sense, right? Like if you're not running constantly, you're gonna lose a lot.
Yeah, that's another thing about running is, like, it can be easy to lose fitness, so you sort of almost always have to keep doing something,
Right.
but there also is, like, importance to rest and having off seasons because, yes, you can lose fitness quickly, but you can also gain it pretty quickly as well.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true. Like I can feel that when I kind of come up with those excuses for 2 weeks, right? It's a
Yeah.
bit hard to kind of get back in, but once you get
Yeah.
back in by like the third or fourth day,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
like, oh, okay,
exactly.
we're
Yeah.
back. We got
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. Well, Alex, I really appreciate this. And yeah, I'm definitely going to touch base with you after you do your 30K.
Okay.
That's
Sounds
awesome.
good.
All right. Well, thanks so much. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Okay. Sometimes I don't hang up properly. I'm just letting you know, Alex. Hopefully this works. Okay.
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 Bye-bye.